Hey everybody, welcome to Popular Unknown Paintball Live. Forgive me, I've been doing some house cleaning and I got into some dust and I'm having allergies. I am fine. It's not the COVID. Okay, it's not the COVID. I know I was tested recently, but I am just fighting allergies like you wouldn't believe. So if I sniffle and I snort, I do apologize. Um, I was also supposed to have a guest tonight. Unfortunately, he had some family issues he had to take care of, and he had to bail last minute, which sucks, but that is the nature of having a live show. And that is the nature of my podcast, it seems. It seems like I'm cursed to go through this at least once or twice a month, every month for the last 2 years. Hard to believe that I've been doing a podcast for almost 2 years. Like, it's not officially 2 years, it's about a year and 6 months. But 2 years ago, Christmas, I came up with the idea that I just wanted something different in paintball podcasts. I knew what I wanted to hear, and I wasn't hearing what I wanted to hear. And please know that's not me putting down anybody else out there. Like Carl Markowski, for example, he's got one of the best podcasts out there, and I can't say enough great things about him. And let's be honest, Behind the Bunker, they've been around 4 years and they have a huge following and people love them, and they're fantastic. I mean, their quality is second to none. But I had an idea of what I wanted to I had an idea what I wanted to hear. And so that's the birth of this podcast. It's hard to believe it's been 2 years now, and I'm just excited. Oh, we got somebody saying, "Good evening, Steve," which is awesome. We have a person saying, "What's up? I'm up and I am podcasting." Mr. Bill Bailey, damn COVID, damn right. And Dylan, hey, right back at ya. And Chico, hey, Steve, sick shirt, buddy. Yes, it is. Now, this is only a prototype demo shirt. I love this thing, but expect more to come from Stronghold, matching hat, matching shirt, but expect more to come from myself and Fred Schultz in the very near future. We now have stickers, we now have patches. Hats and shirts are not very far behind. So these are actually going to be available to purchase, but they're going to be much better than this one. Now, this was just a teaser. This was to see what people would say, see what people would react. Oh, hey, Mrs. Montresor, great to see you. Glad to see you following. And Henry, so Preston County Paintball. I'm not sure why you said that, but I will plug it because it's paintball. And yes, it is crazy. It's been 2 years. Some Facebook here saying hello. Hello back, whoever you are. Good to see you. And we've got hey from the UK refs, Great Britain across the small pond. Okay, so you've got UK and then you've got Great Britain, or GB, which is kind of redundant, but great to know that you're following along, Martin. And hello. So I'm kind of rolling right into the show, and I should back up just a little bit here for a second. First and foremost, it's almost time for the Jeremy Son documentary on Paintball Media Magazine to come out. That comes out January 20th. And if you guys don't know, I'm narrating the whole thing, and there's going to be 12 in total. So if you get the chance, go on over to Paintball Media's Patreon account and sign up, because what they're going to start doing, or John's going to start doing, well, because John, his wife, myself, but what they are doing is they are going to start putting up all the documentaries that they're going to be making for the next 12 documentaries are going up on Patreon. So it's like, I think it's like $8 a month, and you get all of these documentaries. But it's not just the documentaries, it's also they are going to start uploading a lot of the interviews. So if you want, and I believe Bud Orr is already up, but if you want to see Bud Orr, Fred Schultz, Tom Kay, Bill and Don Mills, Rennick Miller, like all the people that they interviewed for the paintball history documentary, they're still going to start releasing all the interviews and they're going to start putting it all up, and it's just incredible. And that's going to be happening on a weekly basis. So if you want paintball content, I mean real paintball content, you need to go sign up on Paintball Media over on Patreon. And while you're at it, if you get the chance, as you can see below, if you want to help me grow this show, I would love it if you swing by my Patreon account too and sign up. I have different tiers, so as you contribute, there is stickers, there's t-shirts, there's hoodies, and I'm going to be giving away a gun too, if you can believe that. And it's a nice one. It's not a low end, it's medium to high end, tournament grade. I'm going to be announcing that in the near future, but I'm not going to do that until I actually get it in my pause. But the gun's actually going to be all modified, or not modified, but it's going to be all laser etched for Popular Unknown Paintball podcast, one of the kind. I don't even have one. This is just it's being donated to the show, and it's going out, and it's going to be fantastic. So yeah, if you guys get the chance, make sure you go over to Paintball Media, support their Patreon account if you really want a lot of paintball content, best paintball content there is. And then if you guys want to help me grow my show, as you can see, I got a fancy new mic. I'd really like to up the quality. Like, I mean, this is all fantastic for now, but I'm really working on building up a real studio and stuff. So if you guys can help contribute so that I can improve, I'd love it. So just swing over to Patreon and help me there. All right. On top of that, I have to thank Valken. They've stepped up in a huge way. We've got some exciting stuff coming from them in the near future. They were nice enough to donate an M17 surprise, one of the mag-fed markers that they have. Beautiful gun, and it got sent out, and Brian actually just posted it up. There's a copy of it in my Facebook group if you want to see a picture of it, but Brian actually received it today, and he's all excited about it. And I gotta be honest, I want one. I want one. I'm not a mag-fed guy. I've never been a mag-fed guy, but I've been looking at that thing, and I was looking at the specs and the reviews, and I gotta tell you, for 2021, I may just have to talk to Gino and Josh and all the fine people at Valken and see if I can't score one and maybe a few mags. I don't think I'll ever be a mag-fed player, but I think it would be fun just to go out and play a little paintball and try out the whole mag-fed scene. Yeah, we have to thank MacDev. We have to thank UltraSilk. Definitely pushed. They're always here. I love my push masks. Combat Pursuit, which is my home field. Premium Paintball Products, which is the local store that I like to go to here in Toronto. Virtue Paintball for all that they do with the Ali Remembered Facial. I'm fighting allergies. Forgive me. Virtue Paintball, Mortal Air, because up there. Mortal Air is just the best. And Transfuse, Steve, I'm all out of my hydration, son. I need more. And Z Clear. And last but not least, I always have to thank the Ali Remember Foundation for everything that they do. Okay, so what am I missing here on the comments while I was talking? I should say hello from Waterloo. Well, hello from Waterloo. I mean, hello from Kitchener-Waterloo. Okay. I don't know why my name doesn't show it. Well, if you go on the post, you'll see a space where it says, give StreamYard permission to access your profile, and it will post your name up that way. And then exactly Christopher Struck have to log in with StreamYard. And we've got, I just follow Paintball Media, and I'm going to keep up with it. Awesome. That's great to hear. And I've got a question here. And if you buy from Vulcan, I have a code for you, and I'm allowed to put it in the stream. I'm actually going to be putting one in myself. I'm not sure who you are, but I have a code as well. I just haven't set it up yet. Sean, good evening. Great to hear from you. And Rob William, what up, brother? Not a whole lot. Got somebody saying, sup, Steve. And then we got another person saying, sup, Steve. How are you doing this evening? Well, guys, if you're cutting in a little late, I am suffering from allergies. It is not the COVID, but I've been doing some cleaning. So now that we're all relatively caught up, by the way, if there's anybody that wants to talk autocockers with me, be my guest, send me a message or talk in the thing, and I'll send you an invite, because I was supposed to have a guest today, and unfortunately, they had some personal matters they had to take care of, and I can't say that I blame them. Like, perfect. So what I decided to do was I decided to show off some of my paintball guns. A lot of people have been asking me about my autocockers and being an autococker person and things like that. Yes, Sean, autocockers. Well, mostly autocockers. I have a lot of paintball guns. Most of them are older, and as everybody likes to tease me, I always describe those in various states of repair. I haven't rebuilt a lot of them for the plain and simple reason I can't shoot paint through them. So why would I put the effort in? Because the bore size is too large. I'd have to have them most modified. And so rebuilding them, whatever, they're just wall hangers at this point, which I hate because A, I don't have a wall to hang them on at this time. And B, I honestly believe the paintball marker should be used. I was actually surprised at how many people are upset with me because I used that limited edition Ultra Shocker that I have at World Cup. People are like, no, you can't use that. It's 1 of 15, 1 of 5. Yeah, paintball guns were meant to be used. And if I scuff it up, that just gives it more character. And I firmly believe that. So, but a lot of people over the last couple of years have been asking about my paintball guns, my favorite paintball guns, most specifically my autocockers. And we got one person here saying, I'm in the process of building my first autococker with an 04 Pro Stock body as the base. Nice. Got to be honest, not that there's not some beautiful markers out there like Free Flow and all the others, the Shock Tech Ultralights and whatnot. They're fantastic. But for me, an autococker has to be made by Worr Game Products, and it has to have a Worr Game body. So we'll get into that in a second. And we've got Henry Hank Emery saying, what's the purple stripe thing in back of you? That there is an Automag. That is the beast. I bought that at a pawn shop with a TAC 1 dot body, not working, for $40. And then, actually, one second. Let me see if I can just go into the brands here for a second. I'm just going to remove this there so you get a better look. Anyway, so that is my mag right there. That's the only one I own. And I love it. It's awesome. It's just because you asked about that purple thing. And because of the nice write-ups and everything that I did, Tim Glavin, the man behind Airgun Designs and the man selling the guns, I swapped out the bodies. I talked with Jake of Bearded Works, which is, the guy's just amazing, absolutely amazing. And so I bought a purple body, kind of traded it. So I got rid of the TAC one because I'm not a TAC fan. I don't like all the ribs on it and stuff like that. No, I like the purple. And so yeah, so I sent it down to Airgun Designs and he cleaned it up. And then my friend Martin, our teammate of the Booney Boys, he gave me he made custom made purple glitter grips for me because that's just my style. Loud, proud, and well endowed. That's just how you got to roll. Anyway, so that's my mag, and I haven't had a chance to use it yet, which disappoints me to no end. But yeah, that thing's absolutely amazing. All right, so what we got here? I'm missing things. The cocker I got off Pangkin is a beast. Yeah, Pang knows his stuff. It's amazing. And we got here, God no, nail polish in the back of the barrel, freak bore, barrel kits, so many options. Yeah. A lot of the paintball guns that I have don't have removable barrels, and I'm sorry, nail polish or tape and all those. Not against it. I've done it, but I play so rarely compared to how much I want to. And I've got some really nice markers that are good to go. So that's what I'm doing. Once I've got more time, more free time, and maybe a little more income coming in, maybe it'll be worth time buying O-rings and taking them apart and polishing and getting them cleaned up. But for now, those old guns, I'm not getting rid of them. They will be repaired at some point, hopefully. But for the time being, it's just not what I need to do. And okay, everyone locally knows I've got too many cockers. There's no such thing as too many. I've got all I need, but there's not. If people were going to start handing them to me, I wouldn't turn them down. Okay, we got all markers were made to rip and run with. I agree 100%. And Christopher Park says, if you have any questions about the center flag uprising frame from autocockers, I can help. All right. I haven't seen a Basale's Evolution. I don't own one, but I would love one. Those are one of the few guns that I would love to have. And that ukulele is pure sex. And yes, it is. I love that thing. All right. So let's talk Worr Game Products. All right. So the first paintball gun I ever bought, as you all know, was a Brass Eagle Nightmare Competition short barrel. And I've showed it on the podcast before, and it's actually still in the box, and the box is just over there. But I had this little table set up, and I don't have room for everything. And then we're not talking about Brass Eagle today, so maybe another time. From the Brass Eagle, I sold that, and I bought a PMI 3, which most of you know is a VM68, and I hated it. Serial number of my PMI 3 was 498. Yeah, I hated that gun. I've never liked a VM68. They're giant boat anchors, and I think I'm the only one that was ever broke. Maybe it's because it was one of the first 500, but the pins and the trigger assembly kept bending, and when you'd rapid fire, because the barrel, the tank was coming out front, it would actually bend up so that the barrel and the tank would clang off each other on a regular basis. And then if you put a tank that was on too long, the tank actually, like if I put a 10-ounce tank, because I tried that, the tank would actually come up in front of the barrel, and the paintballs would actually bounce off and break off the tank coming out front. Couldn't stand that thing. Still can't stand them. I know so many people love those VM68s. Pass. You enjoy them. More power to you. Enjoy. So I owned it for a few months, and I got rid of it as fast as I could, and I bought an F1 Illustrator. Now that thing was absolutely amazing. No, my mistake. I did not buy an F1 Illustrator. I bought a Sniper 2, and the Sniper 2 that I bought is actually on the couch right in front of me, but it's just a plain old ordinary Sniper 2. And when I bought the Sniper 2, then I wanted to get the F1 Illustrator. So I sold the Sniper 2 to my brother so I could still borrow it. And then I bought an F1 Illustrator, and then I sold the F1 Illustrator, and I bought an autococker and a Sniper 2. Now, these two, the autococker needed a little work. It was one of the early ones, and I still have it. And I'm actually going to be giving that autococker. It's in pieces right now. I just have to get the parts together. I'm going to be giving it to Brad of Maritime Paintball podcast, because he's been wanting an autococker for a long time. And so I'm just going to box it all up, and it's going his way. So Brad, if you're paying attention or you're listening, whatnot, I haven't forgotten. I just haven't found all the parts because I've got like 9 boxes. I think it's 9 boxes of autococker parts because, yeah, I bought out a bunch of stuff. So anyway, moving on. Sold the F1 Illustrator because I had the opportunity. Once I had an autococker and the Sniper, I just loved them. And so I bought the autococker and I bought a Sniper 2, and I bought them together as a set. And so might as well start with that. And so this is my Sniper 1.5. Now, as you can see, when I bought it, it had the special rail or not the rail, the cocking rod that was meant for an auto trigger. But the person that I bought it from never actually installed the auto trigger, so that's what it had. As you can also see, it has the rib barrel with the fluted tip. This makes it one of, this is not a Sniper 1, but this is not a Sniper 2 either. This originally came with the Thompson wood stock on the back, but it got stolen long ago, long before it got stolen long time ago, and it didn't come with it when I got it. Now this says this is my tournament gun because back at Skyball 2, there was a team called the Team Internet Project, and the Team Internet Project, they were playing pumps in semi in Skyball. And so I was supposed to play with them, and this actually got lent to my then girlfriend, who actually mugged an Angel user with it, and this was the first time she'd ever played. So imagine a girl that is about this big around. I believe she's like 5'2", like, so she was 5'2", super skinny, and she get put to play paintball for the very first time in Skyball because the Team Internet Project adopted her. We were both members, but the Team Internet Project adopted her, and they were all using pumps. So since I had this handy, I got this ready for her, and she mugged a guy with an Angel, and they won the game. Now they didn't win a lot of games, but they won the one, and she was playing, and so this shot a guy with an Angel at Skyball 2. That's why it says this is my tournament gun, and that sticker has been on since Skyball 2, and I'll never take it off. One of the neat things about these old autocockers, which are horrible, sorry, bud, but it is, and one of the things we always took word is, you see how there's no ring to pop it out? This actually pulls, as you can see. All right. And what it does is it forces the ball bearings out to lock it in. Now, that's kind of cool, and it's a great idea. But the problem is, once you start playing paintball and you're shooting like high speeds and whatnot, this loosens up. And as you get pumping really fast, they'll come out a little bit, it'll loosen up, and the bolt will actually come back a little bit, like you'll be pumping. It's not like the airflow is going to throw it out. It does a little, but not a lot. But it takes you out of the game. So when I played, I changed the back block to a different back block off a standard autococker, and I just put a standard autococker bolt in it. But that is the original bolt that comes with it. So yeah, now this barrel needs to be bored out and get an XL freak, because the inside barrel is all just scuffed right up, like from playing in sand and stuff. I mean, this is an old marker. And yeah, so that is not an autococker, but I felt that I had to include it in this show because it was important. So that's that. Oh, actually, you guys might find this cool. I grabbed it and I completely forgot. Like I said, the actual wooden stock, the wooden Thompson stock, is gone from a long time ago. But what did come with it was this old original Lapco. I think, let me see, where does it say Lapco? Yeah, there. As you can see, this old school Lapco. So when I bought this actually had a giant 10-ounce tank, which I still have. I just have to dig it out one of the boxes. And it had one of the giant knob on-offs. So this was one of the earliest original constant air, which is the big bolt 10-ounce CO2 tank. This thing was just absolutely amazing. So this, did it again. So this would sit on like that, and it had a giant 10-ounce stock. It was just awesome. I would love to get this set up and going and shooting and playing with the stock on it, a 10-ounce, or maybe some sort of compressed air from Immortal Air. There's some new tank designs coming out, so I wouldn't mind having a really long compressed air tank on that. I think that would be wild. But yeah, so this is my favorite pump gun. This is my Sniper. I have two others. that are very, very plain looking. I mean, sure, you've all seen Sniper 2s before, but this one's my favorite. So let me just put this away first. Let me just put this away for a second. All right, so let's see. I got some more here. All right, so the one that I show off the most is this one. Now, this is a Jeff Orr custom body, and the anodization of it is called bubble wrap. And it's my understanding that there are only 7 other Jeff Orr custom bodies out there in this pattern. So it's pretty rare. Now, for the most part, a majority of this is stock Worr Game products as far as internals and stuff go. I'm not sure what the valve is because I bought this. I've never actually, I shouldn't say I've never played with it, but I've never taken it apart to see what the actual valve is. I mean, obviously, it's got Air America regulator on it. It's got the Basales 3-way stock. You know, it's got the. I love this gun, and this is one of the Booney Boys originally. So this gun was bought directly from Jeff Orr himself by a guy named Paul Darnborough, who played with the Booney Boys. And at the time, they were part of Constant Pursuit, or maybe just after. So this was one of the pro MPPL Constant Pursuit autocockers. And so when what was it called? Sorry, I had a lot. When Paul had to get out of paintball because of his knees, you get up there in years, you beat him up. He sold off all his gear, and I bought everything he had just because I wanted this gun. Now, most people, or a lot of people, think that anodization is super ugly. I got to tell you, I absolutely love it. The cameras don't really do it justice. It is sort of a metallic gold to dark, deep blood red orange fade on all the dots. And it is, yeah, this gun absolutely rips. Now, I'm going to be getting rid of the drop because I'm not a drop guy anymore. Back in the day, that was the way you played. So the drop's going to go, but this whole thing needs to be rebuilt and get it rocking. I love it. Don't get me wrong, but this was not my priority to build up, but this is one of my absolute favorite autocockers, and I think that this will be rebuilt in the very, very, very near future. So that is my autococker with the hinge frame, and I really like the hinge frames on autocockers, by the way. Nothing against sliders, but I really like that. And like I said, I believe that autocockers should be Worr Game product bodies. Now, that one is a Jeff Orr custom, and I figure, I mean, if it's made by Jeff Orr, that's as close to Worr Game products as damn is to swearing. So that counts. Send it to Pen King. I might send it to Pen King. I may also send it to Jake at Bearded Works. Nothing against Penn. I love Penn a lot. He's hilarious. I loved having him on the show. But Jake's my boy. Jake and Bearded Works and whatnot. I want to fly down there, have biscuits and gravy and whatnot. So, yeah, I'm not saying no to Penn because it would be hard. You'd be hard to find somebody that was better than Penn. I may send it to Caesar too. Have the whole thing ultra silked. Yeah, maybe they'll do that. Maybe Caesar have him Caesarize that thing. Can you imagine that? All right, so another gun that needs repair, and this just happened recently, and I haven't had a chance to get around to it. And this was my last tournament gun. And this is my Worr Game Products Oracle. By the way, all my paintball guns have names, or all my autocockers have names. This is the General because it's black and orange, kind of think like General Lee. The other one's called Bubbles because it's the bubble wrap anodization. But this is my E-bladed Worr Game Products Oracle. And just about everything on it, with the exception of the regulator. And truthfully, I like the regulator. I like how, with the angle, the way it's shaped, you can get a grip on it, and it's just really comfortable. But everything on this gun has been pulled out and replaced, and it's either Shock Tech or Planet Eclipse. And by the way, for the record, bolt wise, these Shock Tech Superfly bolts, as far as I'm concerned, these are the best bolts that have ever been made. I just absolutely love this thing. And this marker, man, I have had so much fun with this thing. The last time that I played paintball before I walked away, I walked out to Wasaga Beach for their big game, and there was like 1,500 people. And I just stepped up on top of the hill, and this thing was just raining paint. And my buddy was using a marker. It went down, and he's not allowed to touch any of my, by the way, Jimmy, he's not allowed to touch any of my autocockers. He is an automag guy through and through. And when it comes to autocockers, he's cursed. He touches an autococker. He looks at an autococker and it breaks. It's probably why this is broken. But yeah, it just ripped. I handed it up to him, and he just started wailing on it. As far as he's concerned, he says this is the only autococker he's ever liked, he ever shot. Now it's an E-blade, and I absolutely, by the way, I love these little blade triggers. This, as far as I'm concerned, with a 45 pistol frame and a little blade trigger like that, this is the perfect setup and feel for a paintball gun. Just love it. I really like this Planet Eclipse drop too, but I'll be honest with you, and this is kind of funny. Now, I don't mind if it's lose a little cosmetic, and I don't know if you can see it if you look here, but within a few days of buying it, the chrome actually started peeling off. I don't know if you can see how it's all peeling off. Yeah, right there. So the chrome actually started peeling off this thing, which is odd for Planet Eclipse because they make some of the absolutely best products ever. All right. All right. So somebody asked what kind of board is in this. It's just an E1. It's just a simple board. And the reason why this isn't working is because the solder for the battery contacts has actually let go, which is very common as these old guns get older. So I'm interested in putting a new sci-fi board in this or something and getting this back up and running because I love this gun. And I got to be honest, if I could set this up to play in modern days, like so I have the proper caps and stuff, I would rock this thing just the way it is. As far as I'm concerned, this was the last of the great autocockers. I know everybody loves carnivores. Gotta tell you, this to me is the best. I know people love carnies, but for me, this is what I love. This is my favorite tournament paintball marker ever. Well, not my favorite. One of my favorites. We'll get to that in a second. All right, so let me put this down. And what we got here? Fred Schultz, I will take it. No, you won't. Fred, no, you're just not taking my guns. All right, and okay, we got so well, you've got my attention along with Bobby Douse showing off the Eori. Yeah, Bobby Douse has some, like, he collects tequila Sunrise paintball guns, specifically autocockers. Bobby's got some of the nicest guns you'll ever see. Yep, I'm assuming that's Bobby, and yes, they are. They're just gorgeous. AKA Lightning Bolt. Sure, we all have our own thing, but personally, I love the Shock Tech Superflies. And okay, Sean, I just rebuilt my E2 Ori the other night out of sheer boredom. She needed attention after 5 years or so of abuse. Well, this needs attention too, but it's not a priority. I have other things that I have to work on, and I have that beautiful shocker to shoot. So go with that. What board's in it? We already covered that. And what we got here was, I have to be honest, although I assume sad. Although I've always said I'm building my first autococker. I'm also an automag guy through and through. Mags will always be my favorite. See, I'm an autococker guy through and through, but bam, love that thing to death. Love it. All right. And Sean, I knew I loved you for a reason. Oracle over the Carney every day. Yes, absolutely. So before I get to the last of the autocockers that I'm going to show off, does anybody have any questions? Because we're going to get to my last autococker, and it is my hands down my favorite. It is the least showy, if you will, but it means the most. It's the single paintball marker that means more to me than all my other markers combined. So anybody have any questions? Waiting. Both are great. I assume you're talking about the autocockers I've shown so far. Thank you so much, Fred. By the way, Fred, what do you think? I'm wearing this shirt, and I can't wait to see the rest of the stuff that comes out. For all you people that don't know, Fred Schultz and I have created a company called Stronghold. And I wear this hat all the time, but can't see the logo very well. We've got stickers in now. We've got patches in now. We've got t-shirts on the way. They're going to be ready soon. And this shirt is going to be one of the shirts that we release first. So, what does my shirt say? Original gangster, always faithful. Passion drives us. All right. So, yeah, I can't wait I can't wait for 2021 with the stuff that's coming out from Stronghold. I just can't wait to show you guys what Fred and I have been working on. Like, it's just all right. So let's talk about my last autococker. So this is its current configuration. As you can see, actually, let's go there. So as you can see, Air America Black Ice Regulator, which I absolutely love. This particular die boomstick is only on because it's kind of scuffed up. It's stainless steel back. It's a 2-piece, but it can't be taken apart, so it's permanently glued. So this is just basically a stock barrel that I use on this gun while it's in transport. Normally when I play with this, or when I played with this, I had BOA barrels on it. But yeah, so this is just basically an old beat up boomstick that I have. And yeah, so if we were to start talking about the modifications on this thing, we would be talking for the next 2 hours minimum, because the only thing stock on this marker is this back block right here. Everything else on this marker has been modified, polished, replaced. Like, this is a 97 autococker. I bought it brand new at Badlands in Toronto. And I've changed everything. Absolutely everything. Except that back block. And just so you all know, It's only a matter of time before the back block actually gets drilled and a set screw gets put in so that the rod won't twist. Because, yeah. Now, back then, so let's go through it. First and foremost, this is a benchmark frame. It was a blem, so I got on a bit of a deal from the people that own Benchmark, and I forget the guy's name. So it was a blem. That's why it doesn't say Benchmark on the back, but I actually bought this from the person. And then the trigger assembly, I actually sent my marker into Boston Paintball, and I had all the trigger plates, trigger sears, everything custom built from scratch. There's not aftermarket sliding parts in there. They literally made the pieces specifically to fit this benchmark frame. Back then, it cost me $400 US to have this trigger set up and created just for this gun. That's just the trigger assembly. So just the plate and sear and springs, and they set it all up, and it just... So when you shoot this or when you pull the trigger, this feels like nothing you've ever felt before. Like there's very little play, like by then standards. By now standards, everything's different. But so that's what that is. Obviously, Air America Black Ice, which I just love. Now, on the front, at the time, Palmer stabilizers were the absolute best reg to buy. And I really wanted one. But I really liked the color purple, and Palmer didn't have that. And second of all, the ANS regs are rebuildable. So I could take this apart and I could fix it in a pinch. And so I went with an ANS reg because it worked well. I could take it apart and I could repair it. And that was a big deal up here, because sometimes getting parts for your marker was very difficult. O-rings you could get, but getting guns repaired, replaced, whatnot. And this was my tournament gun. This is what I loved. Now, I had a benchmark drop, similar, almost identical to the one that was on Bubbles. This, by the way, is called Blackie. I named it Blackie because at the time, I still am, I guess, but at the time I was a huge Eric Clapton fan, and Eric Clapton's favorite Stratocaster is named at Blackie. So, yeah, I just love this gun. Internally, it has I forget the brand of the hammer, but it converted it to Nell Spot springs. That was a big deal back in the day, because this came with Worr Game Products springs, and I wanted to be able to change it a little easier. It has a Shock Tech Rat 2 valve in it, which has got the giant opening. And it was one of the first... to my knowledge, I could be wrong, but it was one of the first Rat 2s that came out. I was very excited about that. But the Rat 2 is just like, there's not a hole. It's like a giant slot cut out. And the thing I liked about the Rat 2 is you could reverse the O-ring. So if you're having O-ring issues, you could flip it around and you could use it. This whole thing was designed for reliability. The banjo, the bolt in here has got extra holes and whatnot. That's all been drilled out for timing and modification. But the only thing about this that I don't like is the little mini ram. Now, it works great. It does the job. But I always wanted a Bissales or Planet Eclipse, or I always wanted a nicer ram. Just never thought I'd get around to it. Or I just never got around to swapping it out because it was always working so well. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And considering that RAM has been here in this thing since the 90s, it's just awesome. So, yeah. Now, the gun actually went down a while ago, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get the three-way to actually work properly. So it had one of the older ANS three-ways on it. So this ANS three-way is, I don't know, about a year old. I I changed it out last year. So it's not the same one that it was before, but the old one, no matter what I did, I just couldn't get it to work. And I don't know if the thing was bent or what, but yeah. Let's see what else about this. Oh, now the absolute most important part of this gun to me are these grips. And if you've never seen these grips before, there's a reason for that. My dad made these grips from scratch. My dad loved working with wood. And my dad really didn't like paintball much. The idea of running around the woods shooting at other people, he didn't like it at all. But he was intrigued by this marker because it was, he saw me take it apart and I was tinkering with it and I walked him through it and I showed it and he was just fascinated by autocockers. And I told him how I wanted a different grips and whatnot as well. I'll make some. He had stopped on the side of the road and grabbed an old chest of drawers one day because it was all made out of excellent wood. And it was actually made of teak. So I don't know if you guys know what teak is, but these are actual teak grips. Now, what's cool about teak is they've got so much oil in the natural wood that they don't need to be finished. Teak is what you use on the decks of ships because it won't rot. It won't, like, the water won't get into it. It just takes on its own color. So my dad actually made these from scratch. And I don't know if you can see it, but you'll notice that the right side of the grip or the right grip is much larger, much fatter than the left side. And this is done intentionally. I don't know if it can really be, you can really see how big and how fat and rounded this one is, whereas this one's much more thin and flat. It's hard to tell, but this is actually designed so that when I grab a hold of it and I hold on to it, it makes it easier for me to shoot quickly with the middle finger. If I was to take these grips off, inside my dad's actually signed it. Now, this is a 97 autococker. My dad made the grips in 1998, and in 1999, he was dead. Cancer got him. He had colon cancer that got away from him, and he got rushed to the hospital because there was a blockage, and they found he had cancer, and within a few months, he was gone. So these grips mean the world to me, and they'll never come off this marker. When I was getting back into paintball, a lot of people said, well, why don't you modify your 97 or strip the parts from it, because it's not like it's stock or anything else. Take the parts from it, build up something better. You've got all these great parts because this is a right feed and not a center feed. But I can't do it. Like, I took the drop off and I put this ASA adapter on because it's just want to be able to play it. And this thing has always been an evolution. So I'm going to keep evolving it, keep shooting it, and keep using it, mostly for rec play, because this really isn't a tournament gun anymore. It'd be interesting to see if I should say if, because I'm going to move mountains, try to make the Iron City Classic this year. But I may take this to the Iron City Classic and run one game with it if Team Fox will let me. I mean, they are sponsored by Airgun Designs, but Bud Orr and Tom K are best friends, so I think they'd let me run one gun just for sake of argument. But I think that I will probably change the RAM, update it a little bit if I can find the RAM that I want, and I'll probably, I don't know, definitely needs a better barrel. And yeah. Oh, another interesting thing about this thing, though, is the bolt. Now, I bought this bolt at Skyball 1, and I am told, or I was told, that it was a prototype bolt. and that there was only 6 made. Now, I've had other people tell me that I'm out to lunch and that it is something else and that I got lied to. So that may very well be. But I was told that this was a Darlin self-lubricating plastic J&J prototype bolt, and they didn't make many of them because it wasn't cost effective to make. Now, that was the story I was given. I'm not saying that it's true, but what's neat about it is that it is the lightest bolt that I've ever held ever. And that marker, it just makes the thing sing. So if you look at it, it's got a little thing inside there. It's got that whatnot. This is so light, you have absolutely no idea. And then what's really cool, and I don't know if you can tell, it's hard to get a focus. I do apologize. But it's actually got square O-rings. So it just flies. It's amazing. So, like I said, I was told that this was a prototype bolt. I've been told by others that it's still very rare, but it's not a prototype. It was just, I was being scammed. I don't know which story is real, nor do I care. All I can tell you is this is the only one that I've seen, and I love it to death. Oh, actually, as you can see, there's like a little bit of a ramping inside there too. So it puts a nice, it's just a nice soft on the ball. And yeah, this is not set up to be low pressure. This hits a little harder than low pressure guns, because I found that having a little bit higher of pressure made the paintball gun more reliable and more consistent. And I was more concerned with consistency than I was with having the most technologically advanced guns. I wanted something that was reliable, shot straight, and had ball-on-ball laser accuracy. When I was at Skyball 2, I actually lent this to Paul Darnborough of the Booney Boys so he could play. So this actually got used at Skyball 2. And when I lent this to him, I got to borrow one of those old Shocker shoeboxes, and the Shocker shoebox went down on me. Go figure. This, however, worked great. It won games, and yeah, I just think that is wicked. So yeah, so this is Blackie. This is my 97 autococker that I've had since new. And like I said, the only piece on this that's stock is that back block. All rods, all screws, all body parts, polished, drilled, painted. Or not painted, but polished, drilled. Like, there's nothing on this thing as stock except that. So yeah, so that's my 97 cocker. All right, so I've been rambling. Let me just see what I missed here on messages. Okay, so what we got here? We got all right, so Sean said beat be setting some XL, XXL shirts and stickers aside for me, sir. So I guess that's better be setting aside. I don't know, man. I'm just the designer. You got to talk to Fred. If you want free stuff, but I'll make sure that you get one if you want one. But I don't think it'll be free. Maybe. We'll see. Depends on how much Fred Schultz likes you. All right. And I always like the Messiah and Vigilante regs. Yes, me too. I absolutely love Air America, which is why I am so happy to have Immortal Air stuff. And I would love to see Immortal Air start make some old school style regs. I think that would just be absolutely amazing. I got one too, but now it's on a pump gun. All right. And what we got here? And rude. And hey, Connor, good to see you. And okay, I want to touch it. I hope you're talking about my paintball gun. And yeah, See, I don't think that I'm sorry. I don't consider that ugly. Like of all the things that were out there, I like it. I like how it feels. It's got the I maybe I'm just used to it. I think these are gorgeous. Compared to the old ones were just this big giant chunk of stainless steel. These things are wicked. So, Sean, this is one of those few reasons or occasions where I am going to full on disagree with you. Love this reg and I love how it looks. I think it's badass. All right, what else we got? Is that a die barrel on it? Yes, it is. It is an old school die stainless steel boomstick that is permanently attached. It can't be taken apart. That was how they came back then. And love an autococker. It's like driving a stick. Thank you, Tracy. I love them too. All right, what else we got? Okay. Wow, that's cool. You did a great job on those. I assume you're talking about the pistol grips. Thank you so much. And thank you, Tracy. That is cool. At least I think so. And yeah, well, you know what? Thank you for saying you're sorry. And it sucks. But I can firmly say, or I safely say, that unless you pass away first, every single person listening to this podcast out there in the world is going to lose a loved one at one time or another. That is just the way it works. And I'd like to say that it doesn't hurt anymore, but it still does, but I'm used to it. So, yeah. And don't ever change it. You know what? I probably won't change much. It's going to stay very close to the way it always has. But the whole thing about that autococker is it's had so many incarnations. It's had remote lines and stocks and different regulators and different bolts and different grips and I changed it so many times. That's just where it stopped when I started moving on to different guns because I wanted center feed and whatnot. But yeah, I love that gun to death. And but mechs are back. Yes, they are. But let's be honest, Jake. Right hand feeds, kind of overdone. And all right. So what's going to say? Do the O-rings on the bolt have a split in them anywhere? No, I don't think so. I don't. There's like a groove on it that goes through the middle of it, but there's not a split to my knowledge. And Jake Burnett probably has a fee, which I assume is supposed to be few lying around. Maybe, I don't know. Where are we talking here? I don't think they are X rings. I think maybe split rings. I think Palmer's used those on the Blazer bolts. Could be, don't know. O-rings are still fine, and truthfully, they're on the bolt. And if you know anything about autocockers, you know that O-rings on autococker bolt O-rings don't really mean a whole lot. A little bit of efficiency, but not a lot. And okay, Chris Park says, "Hey Steve, if you ever want to find out the truth, I can talk to Joe from J&J from you." Truth of the matter is, Chris, if I wanted to, I could probably talk to Joe myself. Don't know him that well, but I have a lot of close friends that do. And at this point in time, I just love the bolt. It works with the autococker, and that's what it is. Your autococker is in good condition. I'd say it's in fantastic condition. It's because I took really, really, really good care of it. And plus, I've changed out so many things. The stuff that normally gets banged up are the frames and the barrels and whatnot. And yeah, all right. And not free. I support the causes. Fair enough. And Chica says, love the barrel. You know what? I like the barrel too, but it never worked as well as my BOA barrels did. I love them. All right. And we got Uniregs look amazing. I'm a bigger fan of them than Vigilantes the Messiah, although they look nice. Thank you so much. What is the marker on the shelf? Okay. 1 second. Let me just switch over to banners. No brand here. That, my friend, I can't really move the camera. That is a Automag with an EMAG X X EMAG X valve on the back. So yeah, that is an Automag. Purple with custom purple glitter grips. Now the barrel, you can't really see it. It's just gonna be too hard for me to like pick it up and turn around in the middle of the show. The barrel back is not an actual freak back, but that is a vintage purple teardrop freak tip. So I need to get a back for it. Now, I was talking to Sean, and he was nice enough to say that he's got one sitting there waiting for me. Hopefully that's still the case, because him and I just kept doing this and not seeing each other when we were supposed to meet up. So hopefully there's still a back, but that, I don't even know what kind of back that is on that. It just the freak tip sits in it okay, so I just put that back on for now because it just sits for looks. So, but that is a freak barrel tip, and it is an auto mag that Tim Glavin of Airgun Designs cleaned up and just made it sing for me. So that's what that is. And it hurts, but I take it day by day. Yep, absolutely, totally agree. And awesome, the back is still there. So the back that I'm getting from Sean is a stainless steel freak back, and I think that'll look pretty cool on it. Give it a little bit of old school flash. I know the whole thing looks black, but I'm kind of looking forward to having a silver back on. I think it looks pretty sick. All right, so I have gone through all the autocockers, and I haven't had anybody message me about wanting to be on the show, I don't think. Nope, I'm not seeing any messages on Facebook. So, yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm at on my show, other than I want to talk about Stronghold one more time, because these shirts are coming. The real thing. This is just a demo. This is this is just a demo shirt. This isn't an actual what the real ones are going to look like. I'm very excited to see the new ones. Like I said, there's also going to be Stronghold patches and Stronghold stickers, and that's just going to get us up and rolling. So I'm very excited about that. But yeah, passion drives us, baby. And I can't thank Vulcan enough. I'm still excited about Brian getting his M17 marker so soon. That blows my mind. Like that's just a testament for how fantastic Vulcan is. That like Gino was nice enough to come up on my show and surprise me that he'd give a gun away, and then just give one out right off the bat. And yeah, it is fantastic. So I'm excited. All right, so what we got here? Old guys are always falling. Sure, we'll go with that. And show more stuff. Discuss the new stuff with Fred Schultz. I think Fred Schultz and I are going to have to do something special in the new year about that. And I'm thankful, Fred, if you're watching. Thank you so much. But yeah, I think we're going to save it because we got some few more surprises. But brand new paintball company coming, and it's a paintball company. The thing about Stronghold, and I think Fred will agree with me, and he's in the chat, so he can chime in if he wants. But I think the coolest thing about Stronghold, above all else, is that Fred and I are both old school, and the way companies act now is not the way they acted back then. There was a little more connection with the players. They traveled a little more. They got involved a little more. And that is in no way, shape, or form putting down how fantastic the companies are now. They just are. But Fred and I want to go back to that old way. We want to be traveling a little more. We want to be showing up. We want to be setting up a little booth. We want to be interacting with people. We want to be part of paintball, not just selling to it. And I'm not saying that's Vulcan, and I'm not saying that's Planet Eclipse, and I'm not saying that's GI Sports. Please don't think in any way, shape, or form that I'm putting anybody down. I'm not. They do so many fantastic things. They contribute so much money to like paintball media, and they do advertising and whatnot. Please do not take this as current companies are bad, because they're not. Current companies are awesome. This is just talking a different style. And Fred and I want to bring that style back. We want to bring that old school, get involved, play with the people. Like, just, we want to bring that back. We'll never be huge. Well, we might be huge. I mean, it depends on how much you guys like us, but our goal is to travel around, get involved, get dirty with the rest of you, just have a great time doing it, and just live the paintball lifestyle. And that's what Stronghold, that's our focus. Now, there's different products coming out. There are different designs coming out. There's so much stuff that I've been doing, or Fred and I have been doing. I should say Fred and I. There's so much stuff we've been doing in the background. So expect a lot more coming out. It's not just this silly little shirt and this silly little hat, or stickers or patches. We've got more coming, and we're very excited about it. So yeah, so that's that. And I forget where I was. All right, so we got you have a website of Stronghold. Yes and no. We own the domain. The website has not been created yet because we are discussing a few options, but we own the domain name. So yes. There is also Stronghold on Facebook, and there's almost nothing on it because there's nothing to show. I mean, just a silly little shirt, silly little hat, and some stickers and some patches, but it's not like, we're just starting. So once we have content to sell and put on, it's going to hit like an atom bomb. Let me tell you, it's going to be fantastic, but just don't expect a whole lot of, yeah, this is just, we're just teasing you right now. That's it. We're teasing you. All right. And what we got here? The Florida 10 man. Hey, Rico. Yeah, definitely. We should definitely push that. And is the web page up and running? Like I said, no. We own the domain. The page is not functional at this time. And it was quick how fast I got it. So I'm assuming that's Brian, and I assume you're talking about the M17, and that's awesome. I'm so glad. I'm so excited. And I've been looking at that, how fantastic that M17 from Vulcan looks. I want one. Like, I flat out want one. And I'm not a mag-fed guy, but I think it would be fantastic. And have you ever heard of paintballdna.com? No, I have not. Well, maybe I have, but don't know anything about it. So, and Fred Shell says, good evening all and happy New Year's. I knew you were hiding back there, Fred. Knew it. And I did get that marker quick, and thank you again. This is Brian Mars. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you got it. I was looking at it, and me being me, one of the things that I would like to see is, if you look at the old Indian Creek designs, the Puma, the blowback, there was like the Black Cat or the Bobcat and the Puma and whatnot. It's just like a blowback. But they actually had a 45 grip that screwed on to where a Lone Star pistol grip, M16 pistol grip would go. And so those M17s have the Lone Star style pistol grips. I would like to pull that Lone Star off, put a 45 grip on it because I just love a 45, and then I would bottom line it, and I would have so that I could have like a full size tank instead of, I know that sounds weird, but I like that tank coming out from under, and It may be mag fed, but I still want to change it and modify it and make it my own. But I really think that there needs to be, I'd really like to be able to find 45 pistol grip conversion kits again. They didn't make many of them. I don't know why. I love a 45 frame better than the M16 style frame. I think it increases pointability a whole lot. So yeah. All right. So what else we got? Kenny Stewart, sorry I'm late. Hello from General Paintball Museum. Hey, Kenny. Well, you're late, so you didn't get to see all the stuff. So let me give you a quick overview. I started with my pump gun, and it says this is my tournament gun because it was actually used by my then girlfriend at Skyball 2 to play paintball, and she mugged a guy with an angel with it. And so this is not an actual Sniper 2. This is more like a Sniper 1.5. It came with the original wood 45 stock, but that was stolen many, many years ago. But it has still has the old school bolt on it that I change when I play, but for now it just sits like this. And as you can see, it's got the rib barrel and it's got the fluted end. And when I got it, even though that old frame or the old 45, or sorry, not the 45, Thompson stub machine gun stock was taken, it did have a Lapco stock on it. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, upside down. There we go. Lapco. And yeah, so this had the full super huge 10-ounce tank with the big giant honking valve on it back when compressed or CO2 tanks were just starting out. They didn't just screw on nice. You had to have like modified adapters and stuff. That's what this was. Loved it. Still love it. I would love to get this back playing vintage, except that I'd like to be running compressed air as opposed to CO2 through it. So it's going to be fun to modify this in the near future. This will be one of the first guns that I get back up and running, I think. So there's that. Then I showed everybody my Paul Darnborough's own gun from Constant Pursuit. This is a Jeff Orr custom, and that anodization is my understanding is like one of 7, and it is known as bubble wrap. Now the picture doesn't do it justice, but it's like a gold to reddy orange fade on all the little bubbles. And I think this thing is absolutely gorgeous, and I love it, and it is going to need to be reworked, but I can't wait to get this playing again. That's going to be a priority. And then I had my E-bladed Oracle, the General, which I love. By the way, yeah, the E-bladed Oracle, and everything on this, except for what is visual, is either Shock Tech or Planet Eclipse because it's just awesome. I love this beaver tail, by the way. The snatch grip, because of the way this, when you hold it, when you're carrying, love this gun to death. That's the General. And last but not least, I have my 97 autococker Blackie, which everything's been changed except for the back block. Everything's been modified or upgraded or polished or whatever. Only thing that hasn't been modified is that back block right there. Everything else is not stock. All right. So that's my show. I don't have many talking with me, so it's I don't really know where else to go from here. We've been on for about an hour and 15 minutes. If anybody has any further questions, feel free to fire them out. But yeah, this is pretty much the end of the show. So any questions? I'm going to wait a few moments before I shut this thing down. Actually, Kenny said, beautiful. I'll have to replay to see it in depth. Yeah, I hope so. All right, everybody. Well, thank you all for coming and hanging out. And sorry I didn't have a guest for you tonight, but I hope that the paintball guns were an adequate guest, because you got to love autocockers and the Automag. And yeah, thank you again so much to my sponsors. Oh, great show. Thank you so much. But you should be showing off the mag. Rip it off the shelf. See, I can't because there's just not enough room in front of the camera. I'm sorry, but there's not. So, but yeah. So thank you again so much, Vulcan. I appreciate it more than I could say. For the help that you've given. Thank you to all my sponsors for that matter. And definitely check out Paintball Media Patreon account because, like I said, on January 20th, the new documentary comes out and I'm narrating, which I'm just so excited for. But they're going to be releasing 12 documentaries and they're also releasing all the interviews and whatnot. There's going to be so much paintball content. It's insane. And it's like $8 a month. So if you liked magazines back in the day, he's doing his best. Let's support John Amadea. Let's keep the magazines alive because it's paintball. And how else are you going to know? I mean, I know podcasts are great, especially mine, but we got to help Fred. We got to help John Amadea. We got to keep paintball alive and we got to keep that. So make sure you check out the Patreon account. It's like $8. And like I said, January 20th, the first of 12 documentaries that I'm narrating, but the first of 12 documentaries comes out and it's the Jeremy Somm incident. And it's the first time Jeremy Somm's actually opened up about what really happened that day when he was in World Cup and he was in the woods shooting. So I'm very excited for that. Yeah, and while you're on Patreon, if you want, and you can try to help me out, please check out my Patreon account because if it wasn't for you guys supporting me, I can't grow this sport or I can't grow this podcast. So if you're enjoying what I'm doing, please don't hesitate to sign up for the Patreon. And there, like I said, there's a sticker level, there's a t-shirt level, there's a hoodie level, and I'm giving away a really nice gun, which I'll give more into in the new year. So thank you all so much for coming out. Oh, and please like, subscribe, share, especially on YouTube. If you the more subscriptions I can get on YouTube, the better, because 2021 looks like it's forming up to be a fantastic year. And if I need 1,000 subscriptions, not to get monetized, because the monetization I'll get is so minimal, it's not even worth talking about. But I need the 1,000 subscriptions so that I can broadcast live. I can broadcast live on it now when I'm at a stationary thing, but I can't broadcast live from a mobile device. So I need the 1,000 subscriptions if you want me to be sending stuff. And when I broadcast live, not just on Facebook, but be able to broadcast live on YouTube as well. So as I'm traveling, as I'm doing my stuff. So if you could help me entertain you, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right. And I'd say that's a wrap. So thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with me. As always, keep your paint dry and play with passion, everyone.